Whoops, I forgot to add myself to the stream. All right, well, you guys, welcome to my podcast, Hot Topics. It's your girl, Gabrielle, and welcome to the show. All right, so let me tell you what this show is about. So, this is the show where we like to have real talk about real things, you guys. We like to talk about things in education, employment, empowerment. We like to teach you things. We want you to learn new things. We want you to take in new experiences, as this podcast is a production of my company, A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So, of course, we are here to teach you and we want you to learn. And today is no different. So, I have a repeat topic. I love it when I bring back topics, but I have a different guest. And any opportunity I have to highlight different people and to highlight different perspectives of the same thing, I am all for it. So, let me tell you what the topic is. So, the topic today is mental health, part two. We are going to be talking about mental health yet again. We are going to be continuing this discussion. Don't forget to check out part one in one of our earlier episodes. I don't remember the number, but check out part one in our episodes, whether you're watching on video or listening on audio, check out part one. But we are going to continue this discussion about mental health. And let me tell you, um, I actually don't have her bio. Whoops. But basically, let me tell you my guest. My guest, her name is Preezy. It's a simple name, and she is all about that business, and she is all about entrepreneurship, and she's all about your mental health, you guys. So let me go ahead and bring her to the stage. We're just going to get right to it.
Hey,
Hey, Preeti,
well,
how you
how
doing
you
today?
doing? I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Can you tell people a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Um, First of all, thanks again. And I am a retired correction officer. I did corrections for 21 years. I also took a course in veterinarian assistant, and I took a course in private investigation. Um, I've been retired since 2017, and I don't feel like I'm retired, but because it seems like I'm always doing something. And I started my podcasting in May of 2022, and here I am.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for that. I love it when I talk to fellow podcasters. All right, so the topic is mental health. So I know this is a topic that is very near and dear to your heart. So I'm just gonna have you
Yes.
dive right in. So I like to uh I want to see your thoughts about mental health. So please share your thoughts about mental health.
Ooh, mental health is a very, very deep topic, as we all know. It's a serious topic. And I was a mental health officer for many years, so I've seen so many clients come in with different problems and different situations that they're dealing with. And having one of my siblings, is I'm the baby out of five. Um, One of my brothers suffer from mental health, and so it is a challenge. Um, we see on the news there's so many things that's going on, and it's a lot of people are dealing with mental health issues, and mental health is so many different categories in mental health, and it's something that so many of us are dealing with. Actually, I think, to be honest, And I don't know everything. I'm not a doctor, but I think everybody in the world is dealing with some type of mental health issues. And the first thing people think when they hear mental health, crazy. That's a word that should be taken away. Mental health can come in situations where you're dealing with at work, at home, your children, your spouse, your significant other, yourself. And it's a topic that we have to take serious because a lot of people are going through so many different things, whether it's grieving or just health issues, and they don't know what to do, who to talk to. A lot of people are afraid to talk to people because they're afraid that their personal information may be spread out to others. And so you have people walking around hiding and holding things deep inside and don't know what to do. And I think that on my podcast, I speak a lot about self love because so many people don't know what that means, and they're so busy taking care of other people and worrying about other people's situations, and they're not focusing on themselves. And so it can get so bad to where their issues dealing with mental health makes them explode. And we see it a lot of in New York City. Is a lot of homelessness going on, and the majority of people are mentally ill. Incidents of people being pushed in a train or slashed, or you see people walking around talking to themselves. And there's nothing wrong with talking to yourself. That's I want to make that clear. But we can see that things are going on. And so, what do we do? You know, because there are a lot of people that feel that nothing is wrong, could be in denial, but it is something that needs to be addressed. It is something that needs to be taken serious. And I think that there are things that we can do to help them and just give them advice and, talk to people and check up on people. Sometimes the person with the biggest smile is suffering. And I can speak definitely for that because I was that person, you know. Um, And so I think that this topic is great, and I appreciate you making it a part two to this. And I just think that it is something that we just need to take serious.
Thank you, Preezy. So can we describe? Let's describe what um mental health issues look like, so people know how to recognize it. So when you say, people are suffering from mental health, what do you mean?
I've seen people that have everything: beautiful house, kids, great career, and not happy. And there may be things that have went on in their past that they never got help for, things that they never let go, and they're suffering in silence. And it's not always the person that's walking around talking to themselves. It's not always that person. It could be a person that has a regular 9 to 5. One minute they can look happy, it's a show. And then the next minute, you're hearing negative things or something terrible that took place in this person's life or something that they did, and which could be suicide. And so it's not always that person that's in the hospital or the psych ward. It could be people that we work with. We would never know, you know, until they just explode, you know. Um, Sometimes when I'm talking to people, I listen to their comments because that's another way people sometimes when they're always negative and talking, saying sad things, that could be a sign too, uh, a cry for help. And that's why I think it's so important to check on people sometimes because people going through it. You know, working in the prison, you hear a lot of different stories of what the inmates have gone through in life, whether it's sexual abuse, domestic abuse, um, grieving over their parents, and those trigger mental health issues as well. And sometimes they may have to take medication just to calm them down or stuff like that. But it could be any type of tragedy that has happened in your life or things that you just going through and you just can't cope. So it's so many different things that could bring on mental abuse. Depression alone, being depressed, not being happy at your job, not being happy in your relationship can bring on mental health issues. Not being happy with yourself. Maybe there's a situation where you feel stuck. Your goals, you're not where you want to be, or you're trying, all these different obstacles and trials and tribulations keep coming at you, you know, and that could bring on mental health. You don't have enough self love or self esteem. You're not good enough. You could be having a person telling you you're not good enough. Being in that domestic abuse, verbal abuse can bring on mental health. So it's so many different things. Um, with women, also with raising children and taking on so much single parent homes. That can be another thing to bring on mental health. So it's so many different things in the world that can bring it on. And you'd be surprised. It could be the smallest little thing that can bring on mental health issues.
The smallest thing, like what?
Something that may be small to one person might be big to another. Like for instance, like I said, somebody's career. Let's say they're not happy at the job. I knew a fellow coworker. She would cry every time she crossed that bridge. She didn't like it, but she knew that it paid the bills and it had good benefits, but she wasn't happy. And so, yeah, you have the money, you have all these materialistic items, but she wasn't happy, which brought on the depression. And people would come to her and say, but it's a great career. After 20 years, you're out. But at that time, she wasn't feeling that way. I'm not happy. I don't like what I'm doing. So she felt stuck. So something like that, which might be small to the next person, was great for her and hard to deal with.
So you bring up an interesting point about what one person may go through may not be the same thing that someone else is going through. So it's like everyone has their own um sufferings, so to speak, or everyone has their own issues. So no two issues are the same.
Correct. Correct. Just like when you lose a loved one, who are we to say you'll get over it? Who are we to say in time, don't worry, they're in a better place? You know, they lived a good life. Everybody grieves differently. And so that's what I'm saying. And I appreciate you saying that too. Everybody's story is different. Everybody handles things differently. So we don't have the right to judge a person as to what they're going through. Maybe you handled your situation your way. Maybe they can't handle their situation the way you did. So they need help.
So what are some I know well there's in terms of well, before I even say that thought, is another thing I wanted to point out about what you said is you brought up the stereotypes of mental health, in that when people think of mental health, they think of the crazy person at the hospital. They think of the the person, the straight jacket, the schizophrenic who's talking to themselves, right? But people don't realize that it could just be a normal person, right? It could be your neighbor, it could
Yeah,
be your brother or sister, right? It's not always the one in the straight jacket talking to themselves, right? It
right.
could just be, it could be the person next to you, right? Because there are some invisible mental health
Right.
issues, right? So there's things going on in your neighbor's life that you don't even know.
Exactly. Because people put on the front, and we see that in social media. A lot of people, that's not their life. That's what they want everybody to see, you know. And we've seen it on the news. People living these lavish lifestyles and they harm themselves. Why? Some people say why? They had money, they had a family, they got cars. What happened? Suffering in silence. See that all that stuff that doesn't make you happy. Something is missing. And something that was missing they couldn't find, you know? So it's important to take mental health serious. It's important to find out what's going on in your world and get help when you can't find the solution yourself. A lot of people may say, well, I don't need nobody to tell me what I need to do. Sometimes we do. And it's better to go to a stranger because they don't know you. They can't judge you. If you go to your family or friend, they're gonna say the same. They're gonna say what you want them to say. You see, because they know you. But when you sit with someone that does not that doesn't know you, and can't judge you, and is there to listen, because sometimes you just need somebody to listen. I don't need you to make a comment. I just want you to listen. Can most people do that? I don't know. So you need that me time. You need that time for yourself and sitting with someone that just is letting you vent, letting you cry, letting you stomp your feet, because that could take off a lot of pressure from you. And we don't want to be with our loved ones because and treat them bad. They always say you always treat the ones bad that's closest to you because you're always around them. So they get the negative side. We don't want to do that. We want to get help before we take our frustration or depression out on them. It's not fair. So when you need help. I think everybody knows, listen, I need help. Whether you go and get it or not, but you know. And so I think that's important that don't be afraid to go pick up that phone and call that therapist or find that psychiatrist or psychologist because that person is might be the key to helping you find yourself.
And what is it about um asking for help that can be difficult for people?
Embarrassed, shame, you know. Um, I'm gonna tell you a little something. I lost my mother through COVID, and she was my best friend, and I went through it. And I thought I could, you know, you say in your head, mommy was sick, and unfortunately the COVID got in, made it worse. And in your mind, you always say, excuse me, our parents are superheroes. She gonna beat this, but that wasn't the case. And I prayed on it, but you can't talk to everybody. You can't talk to a person who hasn't lost their parents. They don't know. They're going to say things, I'm here for you. I got you. You got this. Because that's the norm. That's what you're supposed to say. You got to talk to people who've been there and done that because they understand. And I'm not taking nothing from those that have come my way and helped me. And I thank God for all the people that have came around and helped my family, my brothers and sisters, and talked to us. But you need a little more. You have to scream and yell and kick and fight because you're angry and you don't want to take that out on other people. You gotta get help. And so at the time when my mother did pass, I had these thoughts. They weren't good thoughts. And I had to get help. And I'm happy that I did. I'm not good 100%, but I can tell you that going to therapy has helped me a lot because I get to be me. I get to scream and cry and stomp my feet, and it's allowed. So you can't do that around everybody. They can't handle that. They don't understand the pain that you're feeling. Just like I wouldn't understand how it be for somebody to lose a child. There's nothing you can't say anything to that person. Just I send my condolences, but you don't know the pain they feel. So you can't talk to a person that has never lost a parent or doesn't know the pain of losing a parent. So you go to these groups and you feel I'm around people that understand. And that's why I always encourage people, go to therapy, go get help, because don't hold that stuff inside. Because you can get sick behind mental health. Your health, your everything that you going through, it affects your heart, your organs. You can really get sick over depression and grieving, stress. We know stress is a killer. So that's why I tell people, I always talk. Sometimes I don't like to talk too much, about my mom and stuff like that. But if it's going to help that one person, I'm going to let you know what I went through. Because you might have went through the same thing. You might be going through the same thing. And encourage people to go to therapy. Go. Don't listen to what nobody say. First of all, nobody don't even have to know your business. That's number one. You know, people may feel, oh, I don't want people. It's okay. You go for you. You don't want to tell the world what you're doing. You go get the help that you need. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Um, I know how tough it is for you to discuss things like that. So, as I was I'm listening to you talk, and it makes me think, your therapist was that listening ear that you needed. I remember you said earlier in the show about you want someone to just listen, right? And a lot of people don't really do that. But that's where your therapist comes in, because your
Right.
therapist was the one that listened to you.
Absolutely. I my sister is she is my biggest fan. And I can talk to my sister about everything. But guess what? That was her mom too. So I feel bad talking to my sister because she's suffering as well. So that's why I said sometimes you have to go elsewhere, because I encourage my brothers and sisters to get therapy. They won't. They tough. They try to be tough, and You know, I'm okay. I'm okay. I know they're not. I know they're not. But I'm not here to judge anyone. I have to focus. Well, I got to do what I need to do. And one day they may go ahead and say, I can't do this because we were very close to our mother. We lost our dad at 56, and my mother lived, excuse me, about 37 years after them. Most of the time, usually parents go right after, husband and wife go right after each other. So it was a blessing to have my mother for 37 more years, So we were so close to her. She was our mom and our dad. And so I know my siblings are going through it. I know they are. And even my brother that is mentally ill, you know, he asks for mommy at times, like it hasn't fully hit him, and it could be maybe the medications and stuff, but he will ask, mommy's dead, right? And now, yes, Richard. And I feel so bad for him, because he didn't get a chance to say goodbye because he was in a hospital, you know. And so I encourage him and I talk to him, you know, and I tell him to, you keep going and you keep doing what you need to do, and you're going to be okay. And it helps. He calls us all the time and it helps, because it's hard. It's hard when you have uh, a mental health problem and you know that this is not where you were as many years ago. Things have happened in your life because nobody wakes up and say, hey, I want to have mental health issues. you know Things happen. And so I think that's why we shouldn't be so judgmental towards people, because we don't know what people have gone through in their lives to have this mental illness. So
Right. And it's like, is that distinction, right, between your friends and family and a therapist, right? Because some people will like say, "Oh, why do you? Why should you pay someone to talk to? Why don't just talk to your friend? Talk to your pastor, right? Talk to your parents. So what do you say to those people that say, "Why would I pay someone to talk to them when I could just talk to my friends or talk to a pastor?"
because they know you and they're going to tell you what you want to hear. I'd rather go to someone who knows nothing about me. And people judge you. Well, maybe if you would have did this, you wouldn't be that way. Or maybe if you would have made that decision before, you wouldn't have these problems now. Or what you boo-hooing about this person for? They left you. Get yourself together. What's wrong with you? You acting crazy. Nobody don't want to hear that. And I'm not saying everybody does that, but maybe people don't have the time to sit around and hear you. Maybe they dealing with their own things. And who's to say the psychiatrist may not have situations? I think everybody in the world, I think a psychiatrist needs to speak to a psychiatrist. Everybody needs somebody to talk to. I don't care who you are. Who you are. Perfect example. I love animals. I have 3 dogs and a cat. And my neighbors have pets, right? And I tell people this all the time. The dogs go outside and we don't know what they saying, but they talking to each other. So we don't know what they saying. That's their little code. That's their little thing that God gave them. They could have issues. How do we know? We don't know what the dogs are saying. Yeah, my master, I asked for this food. She gave me that. I'm just trying to make a little jokey joke. We don't know what they saying. So there's times these people that we want to go to, sometimes we can't. You got people that, You have went to the tour, and everybody else don't know your business. How my information got down to North Carolina? You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful of who you speak to. Maybe there's things that's personal that you don't ever want to let anybody know. You know, so it's better. I say that it's better to talk to somebody who knows nothing about you. They're learning you as you're communicating. They're learning your personality, and they're there to listen. And that's all we need. Sometimes, Gabrielle, I just need you to listen. I don't want you to make no comments. I thought about my mother today. Just hear me out. 'Cause I gotta talk. I gotta talk. Sometimes I don't want you to make a comment. Don't give me no advice today. Can I just talk? Can I just cry in front of you today? I don't want to say nothing. Can I just cry? Sometimes people need that. Everybody ain't gonna be there. There's times people, when you going through the worst, they not around. They there for the sunshine, but they not there for the rain. So don't depend on people, because you're gonna get a shock. You get big shock. So get that life coach and get that therapist, psychiatrist. Like, there's nothing wrong. Just want to talk. Just want to talk.
Right. And it's like we need that outside person, that third party, right? Cuz you brought up good points, if you talk to your friends or family, they might be judgmental, like why you do that? Why you do that? That's your fault. You brought that on yourself. Or they might shut you out and say, um, what you stressed out about? Like that's that's not stress. That's not bad.
Right.
Why are you worried about that? That's nothing compared to what I'm going through, right?
Right.
So they overshadow what you're going through with what they're going through, right? Because then there's that selfish ego there. And then you brought up gossip, right? You might tell your friend, and they tell the next friend, and the next friend like, "Ooh, this is what so and so told me, and so and so told me," and it's
Uh-huh.
in the what's I'm Caribbean, so it could be in WhatsApp, and it's all over the world. So,
Right. Exactly.
um, yeah, so it's all those things where the people closest to you, they're the ones talking about you, and that's
Exactly.
why it's easier to go to that complete stranger.
Hmm. And everybody needs that me time. I think everybody in life, you need your me time. You need that quality time, and you just want to talk and you know let somebody listen, because everybody going through something. You know what I mean? And you don't want to be nobody's pity party. As soon as you come around, oh, here go Preezy. Here she getting ready to go talk about her mother again. She going through it. Nobody want. You don't want to hear that. So it's best to just, you know, me. I keep going, and I've done podcasts, uh, shows, and I just finished crying snots and boogers over my mother. I get myself together. Come on, let's go. Let's go. You know, because this podcast to me became therapeutic for me. It helped me. I like to talk, and I'm glad I started it. And thanks to my two good, great friends and my family members, they was like, "Go, go," because you need that push and that motivation. And if I could help one person, I'm good. Somebody listened, and then somebody actually texted me and said thank you. You know, because they weren't excuse me, they weren't speaking to their mom. And I told them, don't do that. Make it work. If it can work, if you can fix it, fix it. Because I don't know everybody's story. Maybe some things just can't be fixed. And there was another individual, they were afraid to see a therapist. And I said, go. And they did. So that's what I'm saying. If I could get a message out and people listen to it, I'm not trying to be no superhero, but I know how it feels to hurt so deep inside. Like, yeah, the pain is unreal. And I know how it feels to want the help, but you're not sure how to go about getting it. And thank God for New York Presbyterian Hospital. They called me and said, do you want therapy? And I said, I need everything you can give me because I'm losing my mind. And so I shout out, I shout them out all the time. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because sometimes people need that, they're afraid. And if somebody, hey, you need a number, thank you. You don't know, you could have saved somebody's life. You could have saved somebody's life. So it's important. That's why I tell people sometimes just reach out to people. Check up on people. Send a text. You don't know what people going through. Huh? So,
Right, right. And it's like uh, you don't know what people are going through, right? Um and it's it's and especially with the judgments, right? Cuz you said earlier that um when it comes to, people with wealth, right? Um they're the most likely to be judged, right? By, when it comes to mental health, cuz you're thinking, oh, they have all the money in the world and they have all these nice things. They have the cars and the house and and they still commit suicide. Like, why? Like, even when we look at celebrities, right? Like Robin Williams committed
uh,
suicide. The lead singer of Linkin Park did. And I think Nipsey Hussle, no, was he suicide? Nipsey
no,
Hussle?
he was murdered. The
He was
rapper,
murdered.
yeah, he was murdered.
Yeah. And
The
there was a,
dancer, the dancer, what's his name? Twitch. What's his name?
yeah,
He was on
he
Helen.
committed suicide.
He was on the Ellen show.
Right, he committed suicide, right? So you have all these things going on with celebrities, and it's like, you think, oh, they have all the money, they have all the popularity, they have all these things, right? And yet they commit suicide, and it's that conflict, that mental, that, like, they have all this, but they still commit suicide. Like, there's this juxtaposition, like there's this, something is not matching. Like,
Right.
what do you mean? So it's it's this idea of, the people, you think people have it all, but
That's
it
right.
doesn't mean that they're happy, and you did say that.
It's a show. Something's missing. Something is missing. Even the time with COVID, the numbers were so high with suicide. Do you know the vestibule in Manhattan, that big thing that they built? It's called the
Mm,
Vessel. It's like a really crazy design, and you can walk all the way up to the steps, go all the way to the top. People, they had to shut that down because people were jumping off of it. And, COVID was messed up a lot of people, like definitely mentally, because they couldn't go out. They couldn't leave their homes, they couldn't see their family members. Then they were losing so many family members, and people just couldn't cope. They couldn't deal with things, you know. And you would think, like you said, you think people got it together. It's a mask, it's a mask. It's not real. Deep inside, they doing their thing, but they coming home and they're miserable, you know. And so that's why I say, when you're feeling that way, get help. The devil is busy. Get help. you know just pray, and if you believe, just pray, and find those numbers, and find those 24/7 hotlines, and just talk to. I even told people, listen, hit me up on my email. If you just need to vent, I'd rather for you to talk to me than to go harm yourself, because everybody got a purpose to be here. I don't care who you are, you got a purpose to be here. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's no shame in asking for help, and I think that's something we need to normalize, right? There's no, and even to men, right? Because there's also the stigma of men in therapy, right?
yes.
Men sharing their feelings and their emotions, and there's a whole stigma about that. So what do you say to that about men in therapy?
Oh yes, men are tough. Like therapy, I don't need no therapy. But they hurt. They hurt deep inside. They cry. They may not show it, but they hurt. And if you look at the news, there's a lot of men that need help. They are going through so many emotions. Um, they're just lashing out, doing things that it's it's bad. I just tell the men, please just go. Don't be afraid to go get help. And like I said, you don't want people to know. That's fine, but that shouldn't stop you to get help. It's okay to talk. You're a human being. We all imperfect. You don't have to play this big superhero like you got this, because you don't have it. If you're lashing out, or if you're thinking, having these thoughts to harm yourself, that's the time to get help. It's okay. Everybody needs somebody to talk to. Go seek the help that you need to get. It's okay. And if you have someone in your life, they should be encouraging you. They should go with you. If my man was going through something, you think I wouldn't stand and be by his side? Because it should make you feel good that he knows there's a problem and he wants the help. And that's why I say people need that motivation. Come on, let's go. I'll go with you. Let's go. Because there might be some things I may learn from the psychiatrist. I encourage people who are couples to go to psychiatry, to get psychiatrist help. I encourage people that's in relationships to go. Everybody needs somebody to talk to, because it's hard. It's a job to be in a relationship. It's tough to be a human being. So get all the help you can. You know, Men, you need somebody to talk to. Sometimes you need that me time too. It's not just women that need me time. Men need me time too. They need that break, and to find themselves, and find out how they can better themselves, and build up their self-esteem. And it's for everyone, because
Absolutely.
mental health affects everyone. You know.
That's true. It affects everyone, men, women, even in children. Children have mental health issues as well, and that's also something that we need to pay attention to.
Oh
What are your
yeah.
thoughts on children and mental health issues?
Oh boy, I've seen it. I've seen it. The teenagers and things that may go on at home, things that have gone on in their younger years. Hurt people. And it's so bad, because children growing up in a household that's not right, whether it's verbal abuse, sexual abuse, seeing their parents with domestic abuse. That gets deep inside in them. And they go to school, and those might be the children that's lashing out because of what's going on at home. Some of these kids during COVID, school was a safe haven for them. They were safe. Now you're home with probably parents that may be alcoholics, drug users. It's rough on the kids, you know, and you look at the news, kids are being killed by the ones that's supposed to protect them. So it's hard, you know, and even when on Rikers and we had the 17-year-olds, you try to talk to them, and this not the place to be. Go back to school. Education is so important. They need mentors and people in their lives that are positive, not the street corner or hanging out with the gang members, because to them that might be family because they're not getting it at home. And that could bring on mental health, depression, drug use, alcohol use. Because most of the time, people who are doing that are looking for a way out. You know, that's their safe haven, the alcohol, the drugs, so they don't have them thinking so much. But then when it wears off, you go back to that depression mode again. Now you're going to start drinking again. Or you're going to try to look for that high to get you higher. So I think there should be programs, and thank God for your program, helping kids and tutoring them because they need it. Education is so important. And I told my friend the other day, I remember when we wasn't even outside so much. We were watching Sesame Street. We were watching Electric Company, AB Schoolhouse Rock. We watched those education programs. Where are they? Where they at? Maybe there's not enough funding to keep them running, but we need that. And if parents are not into their children and not focusing on their children, we're going to keep losing them. Your kids should be able to come to you and talk to you about everything. We got predators that's on computers pretending to be children. Are you monitoring your kids of what they're doing? Your kids are being bullied. Are you talking to your children? How's your day? What you did in school today? It takes a minute or 5 minutes to just talk to your child. So kids are going through it. If they don't have that positive role model or that person that's making sure pushing them and motivating them, here comes the depression. Nobody loves me. Nobody cares about me. You know, when's the next time I'm gonna get something to eat? Mommy keep drinking, daddy keep doing this. So it's hard for the kids. I pray for kids and teenagers every day, because it's so hard. Hurt people.
And on that note, beautiful, well said. Thank you so much for that. All
Thank
right,
you.
so we're going to start to wind things down now. So, do you have, I know you said a lot today, but are there any final words of wisdom you'd like to share with our audience?
Miss Gabrielle, you trying to say I was talking too much?
No, I was listening. You want me to listen, so I was listening.
I
But
like that.
yeah.
Thank you. That's good. That's perfect. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. Uh
Words of
I
wisdom.
like to I like to say this, and I say this all the time. Live, laugh, love. Love you because you can't love anyone or anything unless you love yourself. Self-love is a must. Gotta love yourself. Stay healthy and stay focused. Keep God first in your life, and hug and squeeze your family members and your pets because they family too. Just a little bit tighter every day. Um, Prayers to everyone. Please be safe. I love my parents. I miss them dearly, and I just want to thank them for making me a good person, which I try to be every day. I really try. And everybody just stay focused and take mental health serious, and if you need the help, go get the help. Please get the help. Get the help because you deserve it. You deserve it. And that's my words of wisdom.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for that. All right, let's get to your promo. All right, you guys. So Preezy is all over the web, you guys. You could
Yes.
find her and on her website, it is www.listenuplissenin5687.com. You could also find her on Facebook. It's just the name of her podcast, Listen Up, Listen In. So type it in the search bar and it'll pop up right there. You could also find her on Instagram. The account is Listen Up, Listen In 5687. She is also on Twitter. The account name is Preezy5687. And she has a link tree which has all of that information on there as well. So I encourage you to follow her on social media, reach
Yes.
out to her, DM her. If you want someone to talk to, you could talk to her. If you're looking for some resources, reach out to her. Again, I'll give you her website, www.listenuplisten5687.com. All this information, of course, is scrolling below in the bottom of the screen if you happen to be watching this on video. But if you're listening to this on a podcast, all of this information is in the description. So, however, you are taking in this episode, you guys, just know that this information is at your fingertips. So, reach out to Preezy, follow her, support her. And if you need someone to talk to, she's your girl. And Preezy has a podcast, which I was recently a guest on. It is
Absolutely.
called Listen Up, Listen In.
Yeah.
So you can find her podcast. It is all over the place. So find it wherever you get your podcasts. So if that's Spotify or Apple Podcast or Good Pods or Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast, you could find it there. It is called Listen Up, Listen In. Preezy, is there anything you want to talk about is there anything you want to share about your podcast?
Self motivation, education, healing. We gonna laugh because you know I joke around. I'm gonna make you laugh now. You ain't gonna come on my. You ain't gonna listen to my show and not laugh. You gonna laugh, and I'm just here to. You having a bad day? Oh no, you ain't gonna have no bad day after you finish listening to me because that's what we need. We gotta leave this world alone and just think about some good things, have some great thoughts, and talk positive. It's all about positivity. So that's what it's all about. So thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so go download, subscribe to her podcast, and download that podcast today. It is called Listen Up, Listen In. So
Yes.
listen to it wherever you get your podcast. All
Right.
right, Preezy, thank you again for joining me on Hot Topics.
And thank you. Have a beautiful day.
You too. All right, you guys. Whew, wow, that is heavy, 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 but we got to talk about it. It's got to be said. And before I get to my conclusion, I just want to reiterate that if you are looking for any kind of mental health assistance, I encourage you to, you're welcome to reach out to me. Matter of fact, let me put up my information right now. So yes, while this is part of my tutoring company. Mental health is a big part of tutoring because you fix the academic part, you fix the self-confidence part. So it is integrated in our services. But just generally speaking, if you are looking for any kind of mental health assistance, if you are looking for a therapist, there are resources that you could call. There is 24/7 hotlines. I believe one number is 1-800 LifeNet. So you could reach out to that number as well. Or if you want, you're welcome to reach out to me if you need help finding a therapist. The information is at the bottom of the screen. If you are looking for, you need just any kind of help with that. Our guest Preezy, she also offered her services, so you could reach out to her as well. But don't be ashamed to ask for any kind of mental health. You are not alone. Whatever you are going through, you are not alone. And there is someone who will just listen and just let you talk. So don't think that it's you by yourself. You are never alone. And I want you to remember that. All right. So, we've reached the conclusion of yet another episode. Thank you so much for joining me, and this being a very, very heavy topic. But thank you for taking in this topic, and I hope you took a lot from this topic today. So, as a reminder, this show, Hot Topics, is a part of my company, A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So we're all about education here. So if you are looking for any kind of tutoring service, whether it's one-on-one tutoring, we also offer test prep, college counseling. We offer a variety of virtual workshops. We also do editing and proofreading as well. So if you are in need of any kind of those services, please reach out to us. Our website is www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. You can also email us at success@astepaheadtutoringservices.com. You can also call or text us. Our phone number is 347-762-2838. Or you can find us on our many social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Eventbrite, Twitter, and WhatsApp. So you could find us on any one of those platforms. Just type in A Step Ahead Tutoring Services and we will pop up. Twitter, however, the account handle is ASATS2013. So you could find us on our social media platforms if you need to reach out to us. I also encourage you to like our pages and subscribe as well while you're there. So yeah, there's so many ways that you can reach out to us, but I will give you our website yet again. This has all of this information. It is www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. And I also want to share this final plea with you guys. I encourage you to leave your feedback about this episode. What did you think of this episode? Did you learn something? Did you not learn something? Whatever it is, leave your feedback. Let us know your thoughts about this episode today. So drop a comment in the comment section or in the comment thread. Or if you're listening to this on a podcast, drop a star. Well, not a star, maybe five. Well, I can't tell you how many stars, but I would love 5 stars. But, please leave your feedback about this episode today. So give us a rating if you're listening to this on a podcast. So give us a rating, drop a comment, drop a note. Please let us know your feedback about this episode for today that you just heard. So let us know your thoughts about this episode that you just heard. All right, you guys, and that is it. Thank you so much for joining me this episode. I look forward to you joining me at the next episode. Thank you guys again. And now I am signing off. Bye, you guys.